It was the longest tube in the world back in the day. Peter Townend and I often have arguments. He said to me, "No, Kira's longer." I said, "Come on, PT. Kira's a powder puff wave compared to what I used to ride." But it was such a long, fast wave, and we didn't use leashes, and there were sharks. We were always scared of the sharks. That I developed a technique for turning out through the wave. I used to call it a turnout, but the name never stuck. But it's something that I still see the young guys use, and I'm proud of that maneuver because I think it's maybe saved more lives than any other maneuver in surfing.
Do you still race go-karts? 5 Summer Stories reference. What do you think of George Cagetti? Georgica.
Georgia Cagetti. Oh, yeah. So that mate of mine that I pointed out in the back, Binky Military, took me like early 80s. So I've come over here. Yeah. Hey, don't spoil my story, China. So he takes me, he says, "I'm going to take you down the beach. Surf should be good today." I'm going, yeah, right. This is the East Coast, you know what I mean? Yeah, how good can it be? It's like August, I think it was. And like I was on the world tour and like trying to practice for the world tour. I just had a brand new thruster that Simon Anderson had made me so like I was like re-energized. It was 1981. That's when it was. So Binky takes me down and we walk down the beach to this jetty break, Georgia Jetties out in the Hamptons. And I'm looking at these waves going, what? How is this possible? And these waves, it's just grinding. It's like 6+ and grinding. I'm going, it's not possible. It's just not possible, the East Coast. So I paddle out there, and the first wave comes, and it just comes, and it just wedges up on the jetty, and I'm going, yeah, East Coast wave. What's this all about? And I swing around, and I paddle into it, and as I paddle into it, the whole bottom drops out. Bang! I get thumped right into the sand. I'm going, East Coast, yeah! So that's actually one of the best surfs I've ever had in the United States. It was an incredible, because Hawaii's not part of the United States, you know that. But it's one of the best waves I've had. It was an incredible day. Binky, you got my back there. It was a great day, yeah. It was just a fantastic day. And that really opened my eyes to like what it can be like here during the hurricanes. It was just amazing. Way better than the Quicksilver Pro. For any of you who have watched it, it was way better than that. And that was good.
Just for some of you, there have been a few people who asked me to ask this, and we already know. They asked if he had broken his arm at Robert Moses, and it didn't happen, right?
No, it did not.
Dispelled that myth. Dead. All right. It was a long-term myth. We all heard about it growing up. What is your favorite surf term?
Stoked, man. Stoked.
What is your least favorite surf term?
Yeah, that's a good one. I agree. Kook. Yeah.
What turns you on in surfing?
This is really easy. Tubes and turns. Because I really think that's the essence of surfing. Tubes and turns. And the best guys, you can see Joel Parkinson, Kelly Slater, Dane Reynolds. It's tubes and turns. The other stuff is the embroidery and the detail. The tubes and turns me on big time.
What turns you off in surfing?
I think a lack of respect for the sport, the lifestyle, and the art form. I think just that lack of respect. When I see pro guys who surfing have given them everything, and they berate and criticize and just put shit on the system that's put them on the map. I mean, I can't understand it. I think it just shows abject lack of respect. So I suppose it's, what pisses me off is just kind of lack of respect generally for each other in the water, for what's made you who and what you are.
What surfing sound do you love?
I don't know how it is for everyone else, but I'm just telling you how it is for me. when you get inside like one of these long, incredible barrels, and that little light is just sort of spinning ahead of you, this, to me, it's silent. And that silence, it's just amazing. And that silence inside the tube, it's so special. It's because it's not, but it is. It's sort of a sense of unreality. But I have yet to hear a sound in there, and I just love that sort of that moment when it's just so quiet.
I think you know what's coming up next. What surfing sound do you hate?
The sound you get when someone smacks you in the face, cold cocks you.
All right, and last one. If heaven exists, what sort of wave would you like to surf for eternity?
To me, my dream wave is Jeffreys Bay in South Africa because it has this huge, expansive wall, and it has these great tube riding sections. It has turns and tubes, and that's the wave I'd like to ride off into the sunset on. Well, Tyler, thanks. It was really, really entertaining. I really appreciated it. You're awesome. Thank you so much. And a very big thank you to Laura Rubin. Where's Laura? For putting my whole PR tour together about my new little book. This book is so dear to my heart. And thanks so much for arranging this great location. It was really awesome of you to do that. We're really, really appreciative. It's the first time this has been used for an event, so thanks so much. It's great to be the guinea pigs. But I want to tell you guys one story. This is very, very, very dear to my heart, and it takes place in about 2005. And my beautiful son Matthew, who I told you that we lost, both of us were on the beach together at a place called Hammond's Reef, which is where I now surf a lot. It's my local break. It's like about half a mile from my house. It's a beautiful, beautiful beach, and it has a wonderful meadow in front of it. It has multi-million-dollar homes along this point. But there's a beautiful meadow that is there. And they've kept it a meadow because it's a sacred ground to the Chumash Native American tribe who used to live there. And on this beautiful meadow that abuts up against this beach and this wonderful point break is a little memorial. And it sits all by itself on the meadow, and the Chumash still do some of their sacred rites on this meadow. There's a clearing where they do some of their tribal ceremonies. So this meadow has sort of the spiritual significance, and then you have this beautiful monument. So my son and I would always love to go to this monument because he just had a connection with it, and it was just a fun thing to do for a kid. And on this monument are these two dolphins, like dolphin figurines, because we get a lot of dolphins coming through that break. I mean, I surf with dolphins out there all the time. And not just when Kelly Slater's around, I surf for them all the time. And on the inscription, there's this inscription on this memorial. I mean, when I say a monument, it's only about this big. And it says these words are so profound, and they are so. I just think that they offer us a unique way of looking at environmentalism, and a unique way of looking at our connection to the land. So it's the sacredness of the land lies in the mind of its people. The sacredness of the land lies in the mind of its people. This land is dedicated to the spirit and memory of the ancestors and their children. It's beautiful, simple, but profound. So Matthew and I ran up to the monument, to the memorial, and at the bottom of it, you can leave an offering, like a shell and people leave these beautiful little offerings there. It's just great, and it's right by in front of this great surf break. So on this one particular day, he said, Dada, we were checking out the surf, let's go and check out the memorial. So we ran up to the memorial and we put our little shells down, just as sort of a gesture. And he wasn't like an obsessed surfer like I was, Matthew, but he was a stoked kid, and he knew that I loved surfing, so he kind of loved it, I think, for me, but also for himself. But he wasn't like, I'm still crazy stoked, I just am. It's in me. Surfing's in my heart, deep. And when we were in the lineup together, when we used to wait for waves, it was so amazing. I would sit there waiting with my mates, and he'd like be there with his little mates, and sometimes he'd paddle up to me, right up next to me, and he'd sit like this in the lineup, waiting for a wave, with my son with my arm around me. It was like, I'm going, thank you, God, for this. It was insane. So we had this sort of love for each other and this love for surfing. So on this particular day, there was no surf. So after we put our offerings at the memorial, he said, Dada, that's what he used to call me when no one was around, Dada, help me do this. He ran down to the beach, and there's all cobblestones along this point there, this beautiful point. And he started to get hold of these cobblestones, and he made a large circle in the sand, just two of us on the beach, a stormy day, just father and son. And I followed along with him. He made one large circle, and inside that circle he made another circle, and inside that circle he made a third circle. So he made 3 circles of cobblestones on the beach, big. And I'm going like, Matthew, what's this? He said, Dada, this is a sacred story circle. And he put 2 large rocks down in the innermost circle, and he said, we're going to tell each other sacred stories inside the sacred story circle. And he ran off down the beach, and he got a stick, and he put some kelp and feathers in the stick, and he said, this is a sacred story stick. So you can read anywhere in literature, the Native American tribe has something called the talking stick, but there is no such thing as a sacred story circle. My beautiful boy just invented it out of his brain. Maybe when he went up to the memorial and the kind of spirituality of the meadow, he came up with this concept. So for an hour, Matthew and I sat inside the sacred story circle, and we told each other stories. It was awesome. Father and son just telling each other stories. And I don't remember what the stories were about, but sometimes it's not the story that's important, it's the connection. And it was just me and him. There was no texting, there was no TV, there was nothing. There was no one else. It was my boy and me. And out of all the times, I've spoken a lot about the great times I've had in the water and the surf, and that was the best time for me, just me and my boy inside the sacred story circle. It was profound, it was electric, it was magic. We spent our time, and now it was time to go home. We jumped in the car and drove half a mile up to our home, and as I was opening the front door, Matthew pulled a stone out of his pocket, and I said, what's that? He said, Dada, this is one of the sacred story stones from the sacred story circle. And you know all the stories we told today, they're all inside that stone. And he put the stone outside my front door, and to this day, if any of you ever come to Montecito and come to my house, the sacred story circle with all those stones and all that positive energy and that love is inside that stone. And I'm hoping that today that you guys are going to take some of this positive energy away with you and spread it around the world. Thank you.
I guess that concludes the evening. Thank you all for coming out. Really appreciate it. I think you might be signing a few more books. So sign a few more books, sign your body parts, whatever you guys want. Have fun. There's drinks. Thank you all for coming. Don't forget to visit the Surfrider crew here. They have t-shirts, and sign up and become a member and be a part of the solution. Thank you all.